Hello, everybody, and happy Monday. I'm Roger Wakefield, lead AP, coming to you on YouTube Live. How's everybody doing today? I said we have already got the wonderful Josephine DeSmet is in the house, and I saw Southern Mama Drama in here. Got Neil, the Urban Explorer. Neil, how are you? I hope everything's going well. I know you've been sick, man. How are you doing? Got Jonathan R. Got Clay Pearson, and Stan is back. Stan, brother, how you doing? I hope everything's going well. So everybody have a good Easter. And I know that it's definitely been a different Easter for most people. And we didn't get to see any family. We didn't get to we didn't get to go see our new granddaughter. We really didn't spend any time with any family at all. We've been around the house, taking it easy, trying to social distance from everybody and get healthy. Got William in here. Good to see you. Thank you, sir. You know, William Neil, the Urban Explorer. Man, I love having y'all in here. It helps me to know that I got people in there. And man, the questions have been coming in so fast. I have not been able to keep up with them. Josephine, and man, you know it. Last week it was crazy. I think that we went for almost 2 hours, and I was getting like two or three questions a minute, and it's just I could not catch up. I could not keep up. I couldn't get up to where I was trying to be or anything like that. So, man, it was what it was, but we had fun. So, Josephine, good to see you. Thank you for being back in here. Clay Pearson, how are you? Man, let me hear him. Uh, Epic Gamer 456, how are you doing? Stan, I'm glad you're doing good, brother. We got Elnika in here. 915 Richie Plumber back in the house. Man, we got some good people in here tonight. Keeping everything busy. Neil's okay, but thought you were going to lose your mom and dad. I know. Man, I'm glad that they're doing better. That is good, Neil. I saw your post, and man, I'm really glad they're doing better. How's everybody else doing? And don't get me wrong, I know that, man, we've all been talking about coronavirus. I get it. It's going to change the world. But, man, there's a lot of things going on in plumbing. I know that a lot of people are posting that they're going to be out of business. And I hate to hear that. But my thing is there anything people can do to scale down? Is there anything they can do right now to help grow their presence on social media? Is there anything they can do it to improve their advertising, improve their marketing, maybe just improve what it is they're doing and how they're doing it? I know we've been looking at our systems and processes. What can we do to make things better? What can we do to create a better training program for our guys? I mean, literally, see, there's something new in there for you today. Uh, Literally just trying to look and see what options and opportunities we have. So Neil, man, I'm glad your parents are doing great. That's good. Joel, why you doing soldering in America, still in Switzerland? You just do pressing. Joel, man, don't get me wrong. I think that we're going to get to pro press more. Matter of fact, I know we are. It saves labor, so I completely get that. I really think that, man, and I don't want to say that we're behind the times. I think that a lot of old school plumbers, we just get it in our mind. Man, this is what we've always done. It always works. And man, I see it. I understand. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against ProPress. I've actually used it. I've got, matter of fact, right down here, we shot a video the other day. I've got my big rigid ProPress machine down here. And look, I believe in it. But I also know that, man, we've always done solder, and that's really, I hate to say it, but that's probably it. We're old school. We stick with it. I remember one of my mentors out of Chicago a few years back telling me that he had contacted Milwaukee and said, "Look, I wish I'd get the price of the handheld crimper or press machine down to where a plumber could afford it." I think at the time they're still about $1,800, $2,000. So there's a lot of different reasons, but I think that's probably the biggest one is the cost to supply every plumber with the right tool. And I think that's probably got a lot to do with it. So, Roger, you're a plumber. Clay, good for you, man. Where are you out of? Guys, if you're in plumbing, let me know where you out of. Are you union, non-union, commercial, residential? service, new construction, what all do you do? And I say that because those are the questions that I ask. I've got a free online training course. And really all it is to help people figure out what kind of plumber they want to be. And I would say this is if you haven't gone through and looked at that, go through and look at it. It probably take 10 minutes to go through the whole thing. But those are the questions I've come up with to ask people the questions when they want to get into plumbing. What kind of plumber do you want to be? And my story is, look, when I got into plumbing, I didn't know that there were options. I literally just knew I was getting in to be a plumber. And I wish I'd have known more. Now I wish I'd have known more. But that's my thing is I want to tell people there's options. There's different kinds of plumbing. And I know some people that won't get into plumbing just because of math. I saw somebody's online math course today for plumbing, and I thought that would scare the heck out of me. I would see that and say, look, I'm not getting into plumbing just because of that. And it doesn't need to be that scary. There is plumbing involved, or there is math involved in plumbing. And maybe that's what I meant to say. Their online plumbing course was all about math, and there was so much math, and it was so hard. I thought that would have scared me to death. I probably wouldn't have got into plumbing, and I'm really good at math. But I'd be like, man, it's just all math all day, every day. And to me, that's really not what it is. There's some math involved, but things we need to know. So anyway, check that out. I've got questions that I ask people to find out what kind of plumber they'd want to be. Now, I started out new construction. I was doing a remodel, open shop, commercial. And now residential, union, service. So a complete 180-degree turnaround all the way across. But I love what I do, and I mean, just thoroughly enjoy it. Uh, what is my favorite plunger brand? And I tell you what, I'm not real specific on brands on stuff like that. I know that there's a lot of different ones out there. Mainly, I go to the box store. I do like the ones with the bigger bulb on it. I do like the ones that have the throat on it if I'm working on a toilet. But I probably carry two or three different plungers with me. I carry some little short ones that don't have as deep of a bulb because they've got a bigger base, and they'll help seal off on some of these new toilets that are kind of designed a little funky. Also carry some for sinks, and then I carry some just for plungers that have a good deep bulb on it. That way, whenever I squeeze it and push it, I mean, it goes down and it really, really gets in there. And to me, that's what it's about, pushing through what you're trying to. Neil, man, glad you're here, brother. So, and you know what, man, Neil, you hit it right there. Not many solders fail compared to push on. Now, Pro Press is different than push on, and I get it. And look, I use Pro Press. I think press fittings are good, but the push on, like Neil's talking about, man, I haven't seen any yet that I really like, and I know that I have I have plumbers tell me all the time about shark bite that are like, hey, look, shark bite's good, it works, but guys, as a service company, we go back and fix a lot of leaks, so I know that it's possible for them to leak. And people say, well, then it's a faulty installation. Then spend more money and time teaching people a better way to put them in to make sure that they're not having those problems. Because when I go in to fix a problem and it's a shark bite, I've got to tell them, well, it's a shark bite. That's what it is. And it may be the installation, it may not be, but if there was a little bit more money spent on training these people, maybe they'd get it. Maybe they'd understand that. I don't know. Just that's the way that I see it. So, Epic Gamer 456, a plumber in North Korea. Well, man, welcome to our channel. I really do appreciate you being here. Southern Mama Drama, Pro Press, including up to 4-inch heads, $3,200. So did you get the big one? I know they make a smaller one, and I think that's the one that my mentor up in Chicago was talking about. I mean, the one I've got down here is huge. It's massive. I mean, the case is this big and freaking heavy. And then I've got another case just for the jaws for the Mega Press. So for gas lines. So I use them both. Milwaukee brand. Mine's a rigid. But I tell you what, I've seen the Milwaukee ones. I love them. I was actually testing out a new tool, and it's actually sitting down here too. The new M18 fuel pipe threader. Oh my God. Went out and did a job with it the other day. I love that thing. And I mean, I'm telling you, Milwaukee and their M18 fuel they're upping the game. There's more power, longer lasting, a lot of different things about it. I really, really like it. Victor Jimenez, construction is still shut down. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. I know that things are starting to slow down a little bit here. I mean, my guys were off Friday. They're off today. I know that we've got some things going on tomorrow, but it's starting to slow down. And I think what it is, is people are at home and they're realizing, hey, I'm not going back to work yet. I'm going to start watching my money. Don't get me wrong. I'd be doing the same thing if I wasn't up here making videos or doing lives. So I get it. Stan, just had to buy the small ProPress Milwaukee. There is a rebate for battery powered copper cutter. I tell you what, one of my plumbers used to have that battery powered copper cutter. I loved it. It was great. He could get into tight areas with it. He enjoyed it, and man, it speeds things up a little bit. So Clay, mainly municipality and state DOT work. Good for you. Stan, good price. Yeah, that is. Joel Oberholzer. Hope I got that right, Joel. In Switzerland, you just can do 3 years of apprenticeship. It's all the same. And Joel, we're set up the same here in Texas. In Texas, really the only separation is the differentiator there, I guess. After 2 years, a plumber can go take a test for a tradesman. With a tradesman license or tradesman endorsement registration, however they've got that set up, he's almost like a plumber in training. He can do residential homes, anything, and that's 1 and 2 families. He can't do commercial. Once he walks on a commercial job, he's an apprentice. So once you become a journeyman, which is 4 years, 8,000 hours, now you can work on anything, any commercial, residential, service, construction, it doesn't matter, anything. And then if you've gone through a Department of Labor training program in another year, you can get your master license. Jake Vallis, is it hard to transition to other states? Ooh, it just jumped on me. Is it hard to transition to other states, want to move, and you do service drain cleaning, and you're worried different states with different style of houses and codes would be completely different? Jake, I'm going to tell you, man, a story. I had a friend that owned a plumbing company up in St. Paul, Minnesota, moved down outside of Austin, opened up a company. And I mean, he was calling me a week or two later. He's like, man, how do y'all do things here? This is completely different. And don't get me wrong, he's a smart guy. It's not going to take him long to pick it up. But Joel, what I'll ask you is, or Jake, I'm sorry, what type of licensing do you have where you're at? So what state are you in? What kind of licensing do you have there? And what's the testing like? And I say that because Texas has reciprocity with a lot of different states, but it's mainly states that have a very stringent testing in place. And the reason that they do that, Texas is a hard place to get your license. But as a licensed plumber, I think it's great because they make sure people know what they're doing. I actually had a plumber come in from California to work for me, failed the tradesman exam 3 different times that I know of. So I know that we do things a little harder, but he was telling me, look, I've got 7 years experience. Well, it's kind of scary to me that 7 years experience in California, he could not come in here and pass his test. So, that's why I say, what state are you from? How do they do things there? Because I know we do things a little bit different here in Texas. Brand new, very good. I would hope so. Joel, is there a battery power cutter for chrome steel? Man, I don't know that I've seen one for chrome, but I know that depending on the size of it, the blades that we use, the cutter wheel. I know on the rigid 20s, 15, 10, something like that, I can get a special wheel for stainless steel tubing, chrome, anything like that. So, yeah. Gerber press system. Geberit press systems. Okay, see, we've got Vega. Man, we've got a few different brands over here, but man, it's gonna get to it. We're gonna all be doing it. I don't think that the plumbing industry really cares, meaning the pipe manufacturer, Wolverine, people like that, they're going to make those fittings too. Most of them already are. So I don't think it's going to be any problem. Jason Mantooth, you're a journeyman plumber in Texas. Residential repair is your niche. Soldering and press have their pros and cons, and they do. Jason, I'll ask you this: do you use shark bites? And the reason I ask is, I've met the people from Shark Bite. I've told them that's one of my biggest videos. And look, I see the value of it. I just also I see too many leaks that we go back and fix because of it. And I would hate for a homeowner to put that in. They think it's magic and it's as good as solder and things like that. And man, within a few months, they've got a major catastrophe, and I hate that. Jerry M., good to see you in here. Humbleton, hey, hello. How are you, sir? How can someone in their 30s get into the plumbing trade? I applied for a local union, but that's on hold due to the coronavirus. Are there ways for me to learn hands-on skills in the meantime? Hamilton, what I'll tell you is I've got videos on this channel. If you hadn't checked it out, I've got a video about how to get into plumbing. Plumbing school is open. It asks you what kind of plumber you want to be. But I've got a lot of other videos, how to get into the union, how to get started in the trades, how to do a bunch of different things. I would say, look, go through here, start watching these videos. If you have any question, leave comments in them. I try to get back to them. I tell you what, I've been slammed here lately, so I know that I haven't. But leave questions, comments. I will try to get back to you. I promise, if I can. If not, man, send me messages somehow, some way. I'll get them. But yes, there are ways. You can go to work for open shop companies. You can go to work for open shop commercial or residential. I've got links to code books that you can start studying. There's a lot of things you can do to set yourself apart, and I promise you, it'll help you. Elias de Dios, yes, I do. I've seen you in here before. How are you doing? Southern Mama Drama, your M18 is the big one. They also have the M12, which is up to 2 inch. And I don't know how big the jaws are on the different ones. I really don't. What I know is that the M18 stuff that I've used is amazing. And man, I think it's going to be around for a while. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Neil, I appreciate that. Guys, if y'all like what we're doing, give me a thumbs up. If you hadn't done it yet, subscribe to the channel. Love having y'all here. Love getting on here and doing this. But at least that lets me know people are watching, people are liking, people are enjoying what we're doing. Stan got an A-fuel threader. I tell you what, the M18 pipe threader, M-fuel 18, I love it. And man, this is cool stuff. Ridge is coming up, or Milwaukee is coming up with some stuff that, they've got that, what is it, A key or something like that, where literally you can locate your tool. And that's going to be great because, man, it's going to shut some thieves down. I think that's fantastic. Question: during these times of quarantine, do you think that applying for an apprentice is a good idea? Absolutely. Here's the thing. Everybody's slowing down a little bit more than likely. And I will ask you this, Elias. Residential, commercial, new construction, service. Residential service is probably the thing that's still going stronger than anywhere else. And maybe not so in construction. The reason being, it's hard to social distance when you're on a construction site, when you're in a buck hoist in an elevator with 20 other people. You're packed in elbow to elbow and you're going up and down floors. That's kind of a hard one to deal with. So I will say this. Yes, keep applying. Yes, keep talking to them. Let them know you're interested, and it'll make a difference. Even if they're not hiring right now, if you at least keep checking in, keep calling down there and just say, look, I'm just checking to see, I'm really interested. Do research. Find out about the companies. Learn about them. Where'd they get their start? What do they specialize in? What all do they do? And let them know that you're impressed and you really want to try. If you can let them know how much you want to go to work for them, they'll understand, they'll feel it, and maybe you'll get that opportunity. At least I hope so. Good luck with it. Jake Vallis, 4-inch Pro Press. Where would water lines be? 4-inch? On commercial jobs. I mean, I've God, I've ran some up to 6 or 8 inch. So yeah, I've seen some big ones. Elias, question during these times of quarantine. Yes, sorry about that. I missed one. Came back to it. Michael Weldon, how are you? From Milner, Georgia. Glad to have you here. Where is Milner? I've been to Atlanta. I've been to Alpharetta. Been all in between there. But hopefully, if things go right, I'll be back out there here pretty soon in a couple of months or so. Ready for all this to clear up. Jason Mantooth, Boilers. Yeah. Brand new, all heads, including 4 inch for $3,200. I tell you what, Southern Mama Drama, that doesn't seem like a bad price. That actually seemed like a pretty good one. Joe says, hey, Roger, my igniter on my torch broke the other day. So after soldering for 2 years with MAP gas, decided to make the switch to acetylene, dropped $450 for the tank and turbo torch. I got to tell you, my guys use MAP gas. They like the little tank so they can carry it around. It's a lot like a turbo torch. If you turn it down too far, you'll burn up the head. And I've used turbo torch for years. It's really funny. I actually had to go buy me a new Presto light the other day because I had to solder up a flange. We had a customer pull off the brass flange, so we went in, had to put a new one on there, and I didn't want to get it on my turbo torch and get it too hot. The lead was it was working and functional, but it looked kind of rough. So I decided, you know what, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to go ahead and go get a new tool. So I got me a new Presto light. And I think $450 for that. One tank, two hoses, I guess, or one hose and extra tips. Is that what the 1-2 is? Oh, there you go. You think I made the right switch investment? Any tips you got for acetylene? Yeah, man, like I was saying, look, I love my turbo torch. I also had, and you can just go buy the handle and a tip for a Presto light. It'll still work with the same regulator and everything. Man, I love them both. I love my turbos. I love them because I've got everything from an A2 to like an A32, and I love the tips. You can come with a little heat. I've actually got an A32 at home. I used to light my green egg. So, yeah, trust me, I love my turbos. Plum Dog in the house. Hey, good to have you here. MLO 760, how are you? Jake, you're in New Jersey. You have strict codes and very toughest tests and requirements to become a master. And you know what, Jake? I spoke to somebody, I believe, last week about, and God, it may have been in New Jersey they were at. Uh, anybody who wants to come to Texas now, if you can prove your hours, they're pretty much letting you come in as a provisional. And if you come in as a provisional, then you've got 6 months to take your test. But they're looking at the hours that you have to figure out where to bring you in as. Do you come in as a tradesman? Do you come in as a journeyman? How do you come in? But they're looking for ways to help get people here. And I think that's fantastic. Uh, yeah. And I love that they've got a tough test. I think Texas is too, and I like it because I've got my license here. So normally I can go just about anywhere I want to go, and it reciprocates pretty well. Josephine, it is so good to have you in here. How are you doing? And I just want to tell y'all, look, if you're not subscribed, look, I've been to Josephine's channel. I've been to Neil's channel, The Urban Explorer. And connect with people on here. There's some really good people here. And if you have not connected with me, if you have not followed me or connected with me over on LinkedIn, check me out there. Look for me on Instagram. I do a lot of different things in a lot of different places. And most of y'all that know we're working on sponsorship deals and getting ready to do some things. The neat thing about it is we're going to do different things in different areas, meaning I may do a giveaway on Instagram that nobody on YouTube or LinkedIn even knows about. We may give away something on YouTube that the other channels don't know about. And it depends on what crowd or what type crowd I have, what type following. Sometimes I get homeowners. Sometimes I've got company owners. Sometimes I've got people that want to get into the trade. Sometimes it's people already in the trades. So underscore or underline Roger Wakefield, see where you can find me. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Connect with me on Instagram, wherever. man, we're doing some different things in different places and we're really having fun. So it's cool that we can see what you see of the chat now. And Josephine, the bad thing is whenever I come over to this screen here in the chat, I'm still way behind. So I don't know that that one's already up. The chat that you see right here is live. I'm on the live chat, but I'm scrolled up, still trying to catch up. But man, I'm trying to do it quicker. I am trying to get there. So, okay, Jason, only use shark bites for temporary and emergency or testing, and I get it. It's great for a temporary, emergency testing, things like that. But man, you could not pay me to leave one on a job. I don't know that I'd ever sleep right again. Sam Ham, how do you decide on which conferences or trade shows to go to or not to go to? Some are very expensive. You want to become a master plumber in a few years and don't know if it's worth going to them yet. Sam, I would tell you, to be honest, I don't know as an apprentice, I would go to the trade shows. I think that I would spend my money in some online plumbing courses, maybe. I've told people all the time about the UPC study guide. The Uniform Plumbing Code, I think their study guide is fantastic. It really does help me out a lot. And I think I've actually got a video. I don't know if Will's still in here, but I've got a video about how to use it to study by. And I used to just tell apprentices to do this getting ready to take their journeyman exam. But I tell you what, now I tell apprentices getting into the trades to do it or getting into plumbing because it will literally help you understand things a whole lot quicker and a whole lot faster. And I think that'll help you. So, man, I hope it does, Sam. Please let me know. I don't know I'd go to trade shows yet, though. I really think I'd wait because they are overwhelming. Stan, good shark bite is when it's in my hook. See, there, I love that. Shark bite caps for purging med gas, and I can get that too. And I'm also a master med gas plumber, so and I see the benefit of it. Hillbilly, are you worried in the age of PVC PEX and more reliability or more reliable, efficient materials that will eventually hurt the service industry with less breaks, repairs, and needed for a better pipe? You know, Hillbilly, here's the thing. I think we're going to be fine. And I say that because I would rather there be less breaks and things to repair like that. We are still going to be repairing leaky faucets. We're still going to be replacing toilets. We're still going to be selling people bidet toilet seats. We're going to be doing so many different things that, man, that's just going to take the burden off of us. Those of y'all that have been listening to me for a while know that I keep telling people I think in about 4 or 5 years, plumbers will be making $100 an hour on the check. I still believe that. And I believe it because there's less and less young people getting into the trades. And right now, as older people, at the rate we're retiring, 5 people retire for every 1 getting in. And I think it's going to create a supply and demand that's going to drive the price of plumbers way, way up. Joel, sorry, it just jumped on me again. Where'd we go? Joel, here we're doing polyethylene for sewer pipe. Wow. And welding that together. I really like to try PVC piping in the U.S. I'll tell you what, Joel, almost all the drain piping we do is PVC. We tried polyethylene a few years back for water lines. The chlorine made it brittle and crack. We replace it now. We don't even try to repair it. Most of us don't. So that's very interesting that y'all are using it for drainage. Sam, when replacing a leaking gate valve on a branch line in a basement of a home going to an outside hose cock, would you put back a gate valve or a ball valve? Sam, to be honest, I don't even remember the last time I installed a gate valve. I always change everything to a ball valve, quarter turn, quick and easy, full size. It to me, it makes it a better installation for the customer. It's easier to operate. As a plumber, you don't have to worry about closing it down, stripping the stem, and not being able to open it back up. So, man, there's a lot of reasons, but I would go ball valve. Stan, Presto Lights have not heard that brand in a while. Fixed many flanges with it. car radiators back in the day. I've done radiators with a turbo torch too on a small tip. Jason, Presto Light fan. You like your hearing to stay intact. It's the most versatile torch. How do you like rerouting a slab leak versus repair through the floor? Jason, man, that's a good one because uh, rerouting and repair through the floor are probably my second and third choice if it's close to an exterior wall. And we try to give people multiple choices, meaning we can reroute, we can repair through the floor, or we can tunnel under and fix it. Believe it or not, I still like tunneling underneath. We call an engineer, we do an engineer's report. We give people options. I don't really like the reroute because of possible freezing. And people can say, well, PEX doesn't freeze. And I say, man, I've seen it, so don't tell me that. Fixing through the floor, if it's not going to inconvenience the customers too bad, I hate doing repairs like that because you got a big pile of dirt in the house. Man, lots of different reasons, but I try not to. But if that's what they want, I will do it. I tell you what, MLO 760. Here's what I would tell you: if you hadn't applied yet, apply, get it in because I know that they're doing some exemptions. I've got 2 guys ready to take the tradesman right now. I've told them, look, get your paperwork together, get it in. I know one of them has, one of them's waiting on some paperwork, employment verification from another employer. So I've told them, look, get your stuff together, get it turned in. I talked to Lisa Hill a few days ago. Look, she's working with people, so try, get everything in you can. Well, Josephine, look, what you're doing is amazing. So, of course, I tell people to connect with you. But yeah, I do it because I want to, not because I have to. Lady More Natural, how are you? Have not seen you in here in a while. How do you prove hours if you have worked in different companies over 20 years? That's really easy. And I say that, number one, if you can go back and get your tax records. Number two, if you worked with certain plumbers or those employers are still around. If the master plumber's still around or if the company's still around, anything at all like that, get an employer verification form. And man, it's a good way to do it. We have the wonderful Miss Christina Smallhorn in the house. I want you to know, I've enjoyed talking to you about YouTube. And that's another one, guys. If you want to see somebody doing YouTube really well, Christina Smallhorn's doing great things. Love being in her, I'm going to get it wrong, the Discord group. Will's in there. And I tell you what, he's doing some things based on recommendations from you and Dr. Sten and Pam, and man, things are looking good. So we do appreciate all your help. Urban Explorer says, if you have a specific question, I love that. Please mark it question. Either put question like you did in capital letters, put question mark 2 or 3 times, and yeah, I will make sure that I don't miss those. Don't worry too much about it. You're behind because you give people a proper explanation and don't rush it. And, I appreciate that. And Josephine, I do. I want to be able to tell people, look, here's why I do it, or here's what I think, and here's why. So I do. I appreciate that. Vic714, shout out to all the plumbers across the country. Stay safe, everyone. You're Vic from Anaheim in Orange County. I love that. First time on here. It's so awesome. I love it. Man, thank you for being here. And look, it's funny because I was actually out in Anaheim. And actually, it's so funny because I went to speak at VidCon, and I stayed at Airbnb, and I'd walked over to the gas station to get a Coke, and I was leaving. I was heading back to the room that I was in, and a plumbing van was out there. So I hang around, I wait, and I believe the guy worked for Rooter Hero, and I stood there and I waited on this young man to come out and stood there and talked to him for about 15 or 20 minutes. And it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, Vic, I love the way y'all are set up out there. I love the things y'all do. I love the training program that this particular plumbing company had put together. And man, I think it's neat that plumbers from across the country can get together and talk. We can stop and talk at a gas station and visit and just see how things are going. So it really is. It's pretty cool. Christina saying hello. Paulson Games. What is your audience demographic? You're just a teen who thinks plumbing is cool. Paulson, Paulson, excuse me. I would tell you this: if you think it's cool, I've got a video in here. You can go to my list of videos, subscribe to it so you see when I update the new ones. But I've got a video in here. Plumbing school has started, and what you can do. Sorry about that. What you can do is actually go in and see what kind of plumber you might want to be. Do you like building things or fixing things? Sorry, guys. Do you like building things or fixing things? Which is going to determine, do you want to do new construction or service? Do you want to do commercial work or residential? That may decide, do you want to go to a same job every day for like 5 years? Or do you want to be on 2 or 3 different jobs in a day? The last thing would be, do you want to be union or non-union? Now, I've done all these things and others. So I put together a list of questions to kind of explain it. So, Paulson, if it's something you think you might be interested in, check it out, look at it, figure it out. My audience demographic, 83% male, and probably 70% of my channel is between the ages of 18 and 35 or 40. And that's pretty close. And I know because we've been putting those together for different sponsors. Josephine saying hello. I got some cool people in here tonight. I love that. Look at Neil, the study guy's latest video right there, man. I appreciate that. Vic, there you go. Imlo, man, I'm telling you, I really think that plumbing, that there's so few people getting into plumbing that there's going to be a supply and demand problem, meaning people are going to need plumbers and there's not as many available. And I remember when I walked into a continuing education class in 1997, before I got into the union, a guy told me then plumbers are going to be making $25 an hour on the check. And I thought it was nuts. And within 3 years, I was probably making over $30 an hour on the check. And it blew my mind. Hey, Will or Grayson? All right, sorry about that. I was trying to grab me some water. So what I did is it really did. It surprised me. But here's what I think is going to happen. There are less and less, thank you, sir. There's less and less people getting into the trades and more people retiring. And I truthfully think that what's going to happen is the only thing we're going to be able to do is pay plumbers more money. And right now I'm looking for the best plumbers, and I want, plumbers that know what they're doing, plumbers that, look the part, clean, sharp, dressed, understand the sales cycle, understand how to talk to customers, understand the whole thing. And I say I'm looking for it. I'm not looking for anybody right this minute, but when I look for plumbers, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Thank you, Will. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So, I know what it's going to take to get those people. And I truthfully think and I'm going to say 5 years because that's about the number I've been sticking to, but I truthfully think in 5 years, plumbers are going to be making $100 an hour on the check for that reason, because it's going to be harder and harder to find the good ones. Yeah, I really think that. Look at Miss Christina. Will's in the house. You got to love it. Sam Ham, you've seen plumbers spray paint galvanized pipe black when it's on a gas line. If we see that, we go in the kitchen to work, do something else. Should we tell the homeowner? I always tell them, just to let them know, look, I didn't install this. If it's something they're working on and I can get to and change it, I do. I always like to tell my customers everything. That way they understand. They'll know that I didn't do it, but I want to make sure that At least they understand what's going on. Already applied and all documents are in. That's great. Stan's needing continuing education soon. Do you know if there's any up and running? Stan, I know that I've talked to a lot of CE providers. They are putting together online courses right now. I also know that I think that the Texas State Board has put in exemptions to say, look, anything that's got to be renewed right now, they're extenuating everything out. They are making it where, look, we don't have to do it right now. And I don't know what all they've done that on. I do need to get online and check, and I will. But yeah, it's something we're going to have to worry about. Josephine, you're a doll. Lady More Natural, for your great lockdown. Vegas got family in Texas, may head that way. I tell you what, I was in Vegas in January for KBiz. We were talking about trade shows a while ago. I was there for the Kitchen and Bath Industry Show, and look, I had a blast. I loved it. But man, if you're locked down there, are you going to be able to get here? Because I know certain places they're starting to shut down highways. They're starting to check people. I saw one of my classes that I take online. Guy's not even in the United States, but he said they've literally got traffic shut down. You're only allowed to drive on certain days, and it's based on your license plate. So that was very interesting. Cliffy Juan Kenobi, how are you, sir? What kind of precautions are you taking for your workers in regards to coronavirus? Hopefully, you haven't missed an answer to this already, and you haven't. Uh, we've got multiple masks for our guys. We've got just some dust masks. We've got respirators, the N95s. We've got cloth masks that are washable and the changeable pieces for them. And I mean, man, we've got those. We've got the Tyvek suits. We've got gloves. We've got everything. We've always worn booties. So we just tell our guys, look, please make sure you're taking care of yourself every time you walk in somebody's house. And that's really a big deal. Jason Smith, how are you? Good to have you in here. And Cruz, man, things are going great. I hope all's going well with you. Mr. Don't Mess, 1996, how are you? For your plumbing classes, you have to write 5 paragraphs on what you did each day since you can't go to class. Okay, I like that. So let me ask you this: what are you doing each day? Are you doing plumbing? Are you doing anything on plumbing? And the reason I ask that, I'm looking at putting a plumbing training course together, and a lot of these things are going to be things that people can do at home to get comfortable with it, to play with it, to understand what it's like to go out and shut the water off, drain down a house, turn it back on, do different things. What are you doing? What kind of things are you writing about that you're doing at home? And are you learning anything? I hope you are. Let's get this right. Atticus Maverick, how are you? 25 years old, looking to start a plumbing career in North Carolina. Any tips on how to secure an apprenticeship? You're leaning more towards open shop. Is there a union in every state? And there is a union in every state, or most of them, I believe. We've got a link on one of our videos how to find out what union is near you. And I recommend checking, but there's nothing wrong with open shop, especially if you can find an open shop company that does training. I know PHCC's got an amazing training course here in the Dallas area. We've got CEF, the Construction Education Foundation. So you can get training in places other than the union. I like the union training program. They're working on changing it here in Dallas. They're supposed to be starting to train residential service, which is what my company's all about. Right now, what my union teaches doesn't help my guys on my jobs at all, except they taught them how to solder, but that's about it. But I think that open shop, look, I came up open shop. And when I got in the union, man, I was a good plumber. And I did things as well or better than most of the plumbers in there. So do I think you can learn from open shop? Absolutely. Do I think it's a great way to go? Absolutely. But if you get stuck with a bad plumber, that's who you're going to learn plumbing from. I can truthfully say, luckily, man, I started out with two of the best plumbers I've ever known, and I'm glad that I did because I learned a lot from them. First up, water heating. Elias de Dios, first up, water heating. Okay. Sam Ham, your master plumber, says his guess is many old master plumbers will close up shop after Corona's done because it just won't be worth it for them anymore. And that's going to create a price war for plumbers. And Sam, can't disagree with you. There's a lot of plumbing companies that aren't going to make it. There's a matter of fact, my wife got a call the other day, and I hadn't heard from the guy. Got a call from the other day about a company here in Dallas that just shut down. I said, look, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm tired of it. I don't want to fight through all this and see where it's going to end up or what's going to happen. He pulled the plug. He says, that's it. I'm done. Tabernacle of Salem, how are you? Lady Moore, what type of license do you need to bid for a rental property companies? Here in Texas, you've got to have a master plumber's license in order to do anything plumbing. And I say that, let me correct that. In order to bid anything plumbing, you've got to be a licensed plumber, a master plumber. You've got to have your RMP. You've got to have your insurance. There's a lot of things you have to have in place. And what it does is I can go out and bid the work for rental properties or lease companies or whatever, but I've got to send licensed plumbers out to do the work, or a tradesman, depending on what kind of job. So very interesting, but yeah, it get your licensing right. That makes everything in the world good. Can I learn to be a plumber, or is it something you have to be born with? Man, learning to be a plumber is the only way to do it. None of us are born just knowing how to plumb. It's just like none of us are born knowing how to be a doctor or a lawyer. Are there certain things that some people do better than others and understand better than others? Absolutely. I used to ask people, look, are you mechanically inclined? And I thought that was a big part of it. I was mechanically inclined, and it's probably helped me out a lot. But you know what? Everybody's not. And I know some great plumbers that aren't mechanically inclined, but they've learned the system, they've learned the right way to do things, and they got really good at it. And I've had people tell me, look, I can't do this because I don't know it. Well, you know what? You didn't know how to tie your shoestrings before you did it, but you learned a system, and now you tie them exactly the same every time. And it's easy to do, and you don't have to think about it. You just do it. Believe it or not, plumbing is about the same way. Great answer, Neil. Thank you, sir. Atticus, you are more than welcome. Man, I jumped way down, didn't I? Clayson, can't find help in Florida. Do you recommend I try to become a union signatory contractor? I got to tell you, Clay, and I'm a union plumbing company, and I wish I wasn't. And I say that because I think the union is great for my employees. I think it's horrible for me. And I say that because, number one, my union doesn't train residential service. My union, you can go check out my union's website. They don't even show I'm a contractor, which to me is, and my big deal is, what am I paying for? It's not to get plumbers because they don't train service, so they can't send me any plumbers. All I'm paying is to be a member, and it costs me a heck of a lot, but I'm paying to be a member, and then I've got to pay all the benefits for my employees and for me and whatnot. As an employee, it's phenomenal. And I really do. I recommend people getting into the union. But if you're a union if you're a contractor thinking about getting in the union, I wouldn't do it. Not a chance ever if I'm a service company. Now, if I'm a big commercial company or something like that, and it's something that I want to do to think about growing, that's a big possibility. But, man, just Clay, call me offline. I'll be happy to talk to you. Don't mess. Your plumbing classes are a joke. First 5 paragraphs you wrote was more writing than you have done in the past 3 years. You're a service and new construction plumber in your own truck and 21 years old. Man, I don't know why. They've got to have people do something. And look, I get that. Man, it's tough. We're trying to find things to do. And not just in the union, not just in the trade classes or anything like that. They're trying to find things for elementary kids to do, for high school kids to do, online for college. I was talking to my brother the other day, and my niece was home from Oklahoma. She goes to school at OU, which I'm a Longhorn fan, so that really gives me an upset stomach. But my thing is, she's taking all her courses online, and look, it can be done. The thing is, colleges are probably a little more prepared for it because they've been doing online. You know, I think you can get an online degree from BYU these days, which is fine. They've been preparing for it. They're ready for it. The union's not. The union doesn't have online curriculum set up and ready for young men and women to start learning from. So I don't know how they're doing it, but I'm sure that most instructors are just saying, "Hey, look, write a report on this and get it turned in." And to me, it's bad because that's not a good way for people to learn. But it is what it is. Atticus, you are more than welcome. Neil, you're right. Nobody's born to be anything except me. I was born to look good. That was a joke. Hope you got it. Jack's Plumbing Videos is back. Is it good? Is it bad to mix plumbing brands? Is it bad to mix plumbing brands? I got that the first few times. Here we go. I don't know what brands you're talking about mixing, but like copper fittings, copper pipe, different stuff like that, that really doesn't matter. PVC fittings and pipe really doesn't matter. But I mean, you don't want to put like a American Standard faucet, trying to stick a Delta cartridge inside of it. It's probably not going to work real well. Jack's Plumbing again. Got it. Tabernacle. In other words, mate, you can be anything you want in life if you put the work in. Man, and that's a great way to look at it, Neil. Thanks. And that's really what it is. You can be whatever you want to be. And look, if you want to be a plumber, great. If you want to be an electrician, that's amazing. Most of the things that I talk about, it doesn't matter what trade you're in. Whether you want to be an electrician, an HVAC tech, a roofer, a painter, a window cleaner, a drywall guy, it doesn't matter. Learn how to do it right. Learn how to do it better than most other people. Learn how to do it better than anybody else. And that's when you're going to set yourself apart. And it really is worth it. Hey, man, you're okay. I'm playing with you. Jack's Plumbing Videos, you're fine. Nintendo 64 back in the house on your second year as an apprentice, and the shop you're at has you learning service now. I tell you what, I would be excited about that. And I say that because my first few years of plumbing was all commercial. It was all either new construction or remodel. And I remember when I got my first service job, they threw me in a truck and they said, "Go." And I'm the deer in the headlights look. Seriously, it's like, what? And I would just go out and fix things, but I had to figure it out. Now, man, we've got training programs we put people through. We want to make sure they understand this. They understand how to dress. They understand how to park. They understand, look, don't smoke and pull up at a customer's house. I remember I had I had an electrician come to my house one day. A guy wanted to get right up in my face and talk. And man, I think he just got through smoking a carton of cigarettes. And I could not back up far enough. And every time I'd back up, he just keep getting in my face more. And it's like, man, look, we're good. I don't need anything. I've changed my mind. Think about how your customer feels. Think about what you're doing for them. And we've got into that more nowadays. How do we go above and beyond to take care of our customers? And that really is a big deal. Sam, I love the live chats too, man. I tell you what, at first I wasn't sure about it. And as Neil and Josephine and Christina and everybody know, look, I've watched some great people do some live chats, and I'm nowhere near what they were doing, but are doing, but we're still trying to always get better. And I love it. I love the fact that I can get in here and talk to people. I love helping people, so this is really cool. So thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Oliver Clive, do I have any thought on teaching trades shop classes in high school? Do you have an issue with how impractical traditional high school is? Oh, you want me to get up on my soapbox? I tell you what, we can talk about that one. Here's my thing. I think trades should be taught in high school. And I'm fighting for that here in Texas. There was actually or there were bills being presented at the 86th legislature the last time everything went on at the Capitol. And there was actually a bill written to help put a training program into high schools that the high school students could get hours towards their tradesman. Now, if you weren't in here a while ago, I was talking about the tradesman license. You need 2 years of training to get your tradesman, and that actually makes you valuable to me because if you have your tradesman license, I can put you in a van, I can send you out to a house, a residential 1 or 2 story family, and you can pretty much do anything. Now, and I've had this great conversation with the director of TDLR. I hadn't got to have it with Lisa yet, but that's on my list because I think we can cut that training program down. If we could get that happening in high schools, if I could get a student out of high school, and I think it would probably take them 4 years of high school to get that 2 years of training from a plumbing company that they would get just working directly for them. But I also think that after 4 years of high school with a class and either after hours training, weekend training, summer training, things that you can do to give you the practical side of it, I think somebody could graduate high school and make $52,000 a year. That's $1,000 a week because to me, I see a $25 an hour value to that person, and I think it's a good thing. So, man, I'll get back off my soapbox, but Oliver Clive, I'm telling you, I think that would be phenomenal for high schools. We've been pushing kids to college for way too long now. And look, I have nothing against college for people that need a career or want a career that it entails that type training. You don't need that to become a tradesperson. And I mean, I know a lot of millionaire plumbers that never went to college. So what do you think you want to do? Stacy Moore, how are you? Thank you for your encouragement a couple of months ago after you had a couple of good interviews. Came up empty. You did score a great apprentice job a few days later with the third company. I love that. Man, congratulations to you. I think that's phenomenal. I hope that you keep coming and watching the videos and learning. And tell me, what kind of company did you go to work for? Is it residential? Is it commercial? Is it service or new construction? What are you doing? And that was a couple of months back, so you've been there for a little while. What do you think about it now? Do you like it? Do you love it? Tell me a little bit about it, please. Josephine, that was a joke. I know. I do that a lot. Elastic Dios, how long have you had the stash? You know what? I've got to go back and look at some videos or some pictures. I really think I've had it about 6 or 8 years. I've 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 done the beard before. I've done the stash before. I've done the whole goatee thing before. I mean, it's tough. I look good whichever way I am. It really doesn't matter. And I'm joking again. But this is the one that I don't know why. I got stuck with this. I like it. It was easy to do. I really think I need like a sponsor for shaving because it's not about all the hair you take off your face. It's about what you leave on. It's really what makes it work, makes it look good. So it's been about that long, but I'm having fun with it. I like that. Neil says, no one was born to do anything, but Roger was born with a fantastic pair of mustaches. And I'll tell you what, it works. It works for me. If y'all don't like it, I'm sorry, but I like it. Stan. So all your apprentices, what is the formula for finding travel on a 45-degree offset? And it's funny, Stan, because right there's a great example because right there is one thing I did not learn open shop. And open shop, and I'm a stove piper. And if y'all don't know what a stove piper is, I mean, I can hold up 2 fittings and a tape measure and look at it at a weird angle and tell you the right length of cut. And man, I'm going to be spot on because I've done it for years. I remember the first time I watched a plumber lay out for a 45-degree offset. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's making marks on the floor and he's measuring, he's writing stuff down and doing the math on the calculations. And I did. I just looked at him. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm figuring my 45-degree offset. I said, okay. Man, I start holding it up and pulling a tape and holding it, peeking and looking. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm fixing to cut a piece of pipe. Now, we were within about a 16th to an eighth of an inch. So, Stan, I love that you're asking that question. I did learn it, and I'm really good at plumbing math. So, I thoroughly enjoyed that. But, man, until I got into the union, I didn't even know about it. Uh, Clay, you can normally go into my YouTube channel, go into the back. I think if you've subscribed and go in and click, hey, I'm not a robot, it'll give you my email address or Will's or somebody, and they can get me in. Normally you can look at my stuff and watch this. And I love this camera. See that right there? Okay, so that tells you what plumbing company I'm at. And watch that. See that right there? That gives you the number to get in touch with me. Man, I had to mess with this the other day. It was really funny. We shot a video the other day, and it got fixated on my cup, and we shot the entire thing. And Will went to edit it, and I'm laughing, and he's not. Will went to edit it, and he came into my office and he looked at me. He said it focused on the foot on your cup for the entire video. So, pretty interesting. Jake's plumbing. Is plumbing 40 years ago better than plumbing now? You know, it's, I'm not going to say it's better. It's different. I think that we probably, and I hate to say this, I think people probably took a little more pride in their work then. Now it's labor, it's rush, it's push, it's slam it in, go and hurry and yada, yada, yada. Now, don't get me wrong. If I was running work now, like big commercial jobs like I used to be, I'd still be pushing for perfection and nice, neat, square, plumb, and true. My guys still laugh at me because we'll go in to do a slab leak repair like a tunnel under a house, and I still make sure my letters are turned the right way, my fittings, everything is plumb, true, and square, nice and neat, and that's the way that I learned. Now, I may get a little too much copper on a joint, I may get a little bit too much primer on a joint, but at the end of the day, man, my stuff looks good, and to me, that's a big deal. Has it I don't know that it's really better. It was different. I don't know that lead and oakum is any better than no hub bands or neoprene gaskets. I don't know that that's any better, but there's things coming in that are going to make it faster. They're going to make it better, and I think that's really a big deal. Labor is the biggest thing we risk when we open a company, when we do work, even big commercial jobs. Labor is your biggest risk. And anything that can be invented to help speed up labor and make it more efficient is going to help keep companies in business, and that's big. Oliver, the difference in a tradesman and a journeyman here in Texas, the tradesman license is after 2 years. You can work on a 1 or 2 story family house, and a journeyman is after 4 years, and you can work on anything. You can't have your own company. That's a master license, which is another year or 4, depending on what kind of system you came up in. But that's the difference in a tradesman and a journeyman. Kevin Drake Fitness is in the house. How should apprentices respond to leads treating us like crap? Your lead is cool, but some other leads are really getting me upset, and you're trying not to blow up on them. And man, I got to tell you, one of the very first plumbers actually it was the first plumber that I worked for. Man, he was a prick. And I had to carry his toolbox from his truck to the job site. He didn't want me to ride the elevator. He wanted me to go up the stairs, and he didn't want to teach me anything. He wanted me to just, sweep the floor, cut pipe, do this, do that. He did not want to teach me plumbing. I've seen journeymen scream and yell at people, and I don't believe in that. But that's the way some of them are. But I think some of them, it's the way that they were taught. Luckily, the next two plumbers that I worked for really wanted to teach me and teach me well. And, that's huge. When you get people that want to teach you and teach you well, it's great. A lot of old school plumbers think, look, you got to really scream and yell at the apprentices and make sure they understand they've got a lot to learn. Here's my deal. If you want to take the time to teach them, hopefully they'll take the time to learn. If they don't want to, if apprentices don't want to learn, I say get rid of them, because that's our future. And if it's not going to be good, I don't want to have anything to do with it. So, kind of my short, I don't believe in the screaming and yelling. I know that it happens. Mr. Don't Mess, 1996. You hate living in New Jersey. You love to live in Texas. Got any job openings? I'll tell you what, there's always job openings in Texas. If you're a residential service company or a residential service plumber, there are always jobs here. There's always people looking. Get in touch with me, and man, I'm point you in the right direction. Stan says, I think so too, Roger. We need to bring back the trades in high school, like what Skyline had in the 70s. Richardson's doing it. Wilmer Hutchins is doing it. There's a lot of schools around that are starting to bring it back. I think it needs to be brought back a lot bigger, stronger, and faster. A journeyman is a worker skilled in given the building trade of craft. Go successfully. A journeyman as a qualified tradesman could become a master and run their own business. Absolutely. Now, Neil, over here, we've actually got a different license for those. The tradesman is the lowest. Actually, an apprentice registration is the lowest. A tradesman lets them go into 1 and 2 family houses. Then the journeyman, then the master. And then there's so many endorsements you can get on top of the journeyman and master. It's crazy. Stan, it was hard to plumb 40 years ago, but man, it was a lot of fun. What's the difference between Dubai and Abu Dhabi? The people in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but people in Abu Dhabi do. You're hilarious. Okay, and I got your joke. You ain't got to tell me. That was good. Lynn Fan, love your work. Plumber here in Australia. Coronavirus killing our workforce, but trades are doing well. Keep making your videos. Much love from Australia. Thank you very much. Lynn, I've actually got people over there. I'm a member of Green Plumbers USA, which Green Plumbers started by I believe it's the Australian Master Plumbers Council. So a lot of respect for over there. And there's a Facebook page. I think it's Best and Worst Plumbing Pictures or Worst Plumbing Pics, something like that. Great people over there. Man, y'all are doing a lot of things right. Stay safe. Stay safe. Stacy, new gig is residential service. Fantastic. I'm excited for you. I think that's great. You love it. Left your apprenticeship with the local union to do this. Were you ever nervous? Turns out to be more in line with your interests. So much happier now. Good for you. And look, people, the union isn't for everybody. When I say that I think the union is better for employees, I mean the benefits and things like that. There's a lot of people that aren't going to like the politics. There's going to be a lot of people that, don't like the training. You got to go to school at least 2 nights a week, and you've got to make grades. And some of the teachers aren't the best in the world, and some of them are great. There's a lot of things that you got to look at and think about and decide what's right for you. Stacy, I'm glad that you're in a place that you like. I'm glad you're in a place that is more in line with what you want to do. And Stacy, it's funny because that's why I tell people, go take my little online course. What kind of plumber do you want to be? The plumbing school is open. It's free. And it's just, look, what kind of plumber do you want to be? And luckily with me and my experience, I've got enough history. Man, I can ask the right questions and pretty much help get somebody in to where I think it's a spot that they will like. And that's what I do that for. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. All right. Jump back up here. It jumped on me again. Stan, plumbers should teach better. You were taught that in open shop because of big pipe fittings. You can't stovepipe. Plumbers need to teach better. Absolutely, man. I agree with you. Clay, thank you. Tito Hornbuckle back in the house. Do I take on large projects outside? I try to stay in residential. I do pick some up every now and then if it's something I know I can just jump out and knock out and handle. I specialize in slab leaks and leak detection. So a lot of times I'll have either big communities, apartment homes. A lot of people call me to do stuff like that, but it's something that we're really good at. So that's the only reason that we do it. Mustafa, Jack's Plumbing, Tito. Good teachers are rare. I tell you what, I used to love it. And it's funny. I got fired from the union because they didn't like my non-union attitude. I got fired from teaching, which to me again pure, but it is what it is. So my thing is I love the union. I think there's great things about it, but I do see the pitfalls and problems with it. But the fact that I got fired because they didn't like my union attitude blew my mind because I've had so many apprentices come up to me over the years while I was there and since I left, telling me, "Look, Roger, you really taught." Bye, honey. I was talking to my dog. Not really. My wife's leaving. Bye, Julie. Uh, I had so many people tell me, "Look, you really cared about teaching," and I do. So that's why I do a lot of what I do today because I want to help people. So I like that. James Cunningham, how are you? Evening to you. A little late to the show, but want to say hello, and I'm glad you did. Mustafa, just about to finish your level one apprenticeship for plumbing. What's your best advice on stepping onto the job site? No, number one, learn all you can. And I mean, that's still my lesson to me today. I still try to learn new things. I still want to learn new tools, new techniques, new product, anything I can to help make me a better plumber and a better person. And that's probably one of the biggest things is I moved up well in the union, and it was because of the education I had, because I kept educating myself. I kept learning more. I kept learning more about plumbing, about endorsements. You know, I have every plumbing endorsement in the state of Texas, but it's because I wanted to learn more about plumbing. And I got to tell you, it was great for me in the union because go back to the great Jim Rohn. The more you learn, the more value you bring to your company, and the more they'll pay you. And it's true. You become the best plumber in your area, and people see it, people know it, people recognize it, and you will make more money for that. So never stop learning. Always respect the plumbers that teach you. And man, when they teach you something, make sure you remember it. I used to get so upset with apprentices that every time they'd come back to work, it's like, "Hey, cut me a piece of pipe this long." It's like, "Well, wait, how do I use the cutters?" It's like, "Man, I showed you that yesterday." It's like, "Yeah, but I forgot." And it's like, "Man, I don't have time to show you this every single day. Eventually, you're going to have to learn how to do it." And man, that's what we're looking for. So, Mustafa, I hope that helps you. Mr. Don't Mess, you and my boss will get along well. I love that. Well, you know what? Tell him about my channel. And that's why I tell people, look, y'all tell people about my channel. There's a lot of people that don't even know I'm out here, that don't even know I'm doing what I do. And I reach out to people on LinkedIn, uh, Instagram, different places, YouTube, and I go to conferences. I speak at conferences. I do a lot of different things, and it's slowly growing. But man, don't be afraid to tell somebody, "Hey, have y'all seen this guy? Tell me what you think about it." And I love the feedback. I love the old school plumbers that say, "Hey, I don't like the way you do this." Okay, you learned your way. I learned mine. It is what it is. I also love the new plumbers that are like, "Look, you're just a dinosaur. You don't know what's going on." I've had so many people bust my back over shark bites, but it's got, guys, look, I've fixed more leaks on those than I have anything else. So don't tell me they don't leak. I've seen it. So I appreciate that. Double J double M back in the house. What advice would I give to a young plumber who wants to get into construction and maintenance and is trying to get a full-time job? Apply, apply, apply. Man, start doing research, find out what company in your area is the one that you want to go to work for, and find out what kind of work they do. Find out about the company. Find out some history on the company. How did they start? What do they believe in? What is their mission and vision statement? What are they all about? And find out, here's one of the things that I really love is if you can get an interview set up, ask them, what am I going to learn from you? What is your company going to teach me to make me a better plumber? And a lot of times, if they understand that you are serious and you want to learn and you want to grow, it can be really good for you. So I've always enjoyed that. Sean and KC on vacay mode. I love it. Back in the house. How are you doing? Joe, I appreciate that. Jack's plumbing videos, and it jumped on me again. Man, it does that a lot. You had a kitchen remodel and you had a T fitting installed horizontally. Should people be fired if they don't do plumbing code? You know, Jax, I got to tell you, number one, the and I want to say yes. If they don't do plumbing correctly, yes, they should be. But here's the thing: here in Texas, we've got homeowners that go do, I mean, handymen that go in and do remodels for people, and they screw them over. They do plumbing wrong. They don't do it right, and they do things like that. The homeowners don't know. They sell it as a full blown look. I'm a good plumber. You don't know crap about what you're doing, and you're out selling it. I had this argument with a friend one time, who's a handyman, saying, "Hey, look, shark bites are as good as copper." No, they're not. And I mean, man, what we had a very heated verbal discussion on Facebook about it. But I'm sorry, they're not as good. And it's so funny that a handyman wants to argue with a master plumber about what's best. I wouldn't argue with him about what kind of wood he uses or what kind of sheetrock. I thought it was so funny. But you know what? Man, yeah, if you're not going to do plumbing right, don't do it. And if you're not a licensed plumber, don't do it if it's required in your area. So, a lot of different ways to look at it. Is there a lot of do it yourselfers in Texas? Absolutely. And look, I have nothing against that. That is exactly what I started creating my channel for. I wanted to teach homeowners how to do things themselves. Now, if they don't want to, that's fine. They can call a plumber, but I at least want them to understand why. What's involved and why. Why is it that expensive? Here's what all it entails. Here's what it takes to do it right. And this is why it's expensive. And I think that's a big deal. So, yes, there are. So you work in Toronto for the Plumbers Union. Fantastic. I'm in Dallas. I'm in the union down here, Local 100. And I actually communicate with plumbers in the union up there a lot. And I know that, tell me this, Joe, how are y'all doing work-wise? Are y'all slowing down? Are y'all locked down right now? And I ask that because I've had plumbers up there reach out to me and say, hey, after all this ends, we'd like to get you up here to do some videos or consult with us or do different things. And I I do a lot of coaching and consulting. I do a lot of it online, but I also get calls like that. Hey, can you come up to San Francisco or down to Florida or wherever and do some coaching and consulting? So I know that the people that I had talked to in Canada that wanted me to come up were on lockdown, and they were like, look, after things clear up, we'd love to get you up here, teach us a little bit about video, how you do it, help us build a studio, do some different things. So very interesting. Thinking getting away from the union for a bit and working with the refrigeration guy. Has his TSA number and his gas fitter, one license. What should I do? I tell you what, there's great money in refrigeration. I know refrigeration crews that travel nationwide, and man, they're doing some really good things. So there's good money involved there, brother. Josephine, you laugh. I can't wait to see you. Josephine is going to come to the United States to go to a video marketing conference, and me and her and Neil and Christina, and we're all going to get to hang out. So looking forward to it. Roger, have you done in green buildings, rainwater harvesting, and gray water recycling? Uh, I have actually helped design some systems, help oversee some system installations. I've got my WSPS, my water supply protection specialist. I'm also used to be a member of Green Plumbers USA. I'm a lead AP, so I've got the endorsements to do all of it. And luckily, I have got to work on some of it. So it's really pretty cool. Double J, MJ, what plumbing books you read in terms of installing fixtures in the plumbing industry? You know what, Double J M J? I don't know that there's a lot about installing fixtures. The main books I read are code books. I want to understand code. I want to understand why. Also, books that I've got from when I became a WSPS and things like that. That way, stuff like that stays fresh. Now, I'd say for installing fixtures, the best way would probably be online onto YouTube and go to it to learn from there. That way, I can learn how to install a certain type fixture. I've been to some of these training centers for different manufacturers, and that's really neat. I know that I got to go to the Bradford White iTech Center and loved it. I think, Bradford White makes a great water heater, but to get to go through the training center and the factory where they make them, that was pretty cool because I got to have their people tell me, this is why we troubleshoot it this way. This is why we do this. This is why we do that. And then you get to see all the water heaters that they've got there that maybe they had a problem with. They had them shipped back. And if I'm not mistaken, they said that like 90% of the problems are actually not the water heater. It's something to do with the way they were installed. And they can bring it in and test it and do lessons learned. And I'll tell you what, man, I love that. So, fixtures, I'd probably go straight to YouTube. Any other thing, I would try to contact the manufacturer and see what kind of videos they have about installing or what kind of documentation they have. That would probably be my best bet. Bill Welsh, Billy Local Services Plumbing in Chattanooga, non-union shop for 3 years and enjoying it. Really enjoy your channel. You've learned a lot. Man, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I have fun doing this, guys. I love, number one, if you can't tell, I love talking about plumbing. Number two, I love helping people. So, man, look what I've got. I've got a plumbing channel where I get to help people. So, I got the best of both worlds going on right here. So, Bill, thank you. I appreciate that. Jason, if you're a journeyman plumber and you want to join the union, do you still have to go to school 2 nights a week? No, you don't. Uh, Jason, here's the deal. If they're needing help, because remember, I got in '97, so I had already been in the trade for 17 years. So probably had my license for 14 years. I came in as a journeyman. Now, some of the union members want to give you a hard time, call you a rat, yada, yada, yada. I busted my butt and worked harder and smarter and better than most people on the job to show them, look, I'm a good plumber. I know what I'm doing. And it paid off. I moved up to foreman, superintendent, director of operations, all kinds of things. You can get in as a journeyman. Some of them will say, well, since you didn't get your journeyman license through the union, we want you to have it for 4 or 5 years. So different ways to look at it. But here's the thing. If they're needing bodies, if they're needing plumbers to fill a call, they'll bring people in. So if it's something you're interested in, get in touch with me. I'll do everything I can to help you and teach you a little bit about it. Jack's Plumbing. You enjoy plumbing? Is worth getting sprayed with poop. Look, I've never. I'm gonna say this. It's gonna sound funny. I've never been sprayed with it. I have been in a situation where it splashed on me or got on me or stuff like that. But it is what it is. Hopefully, it doesn't happen often. Let me see here. Man, James. I hope it's good. I'm scrolling down and back up. So sorry. Miller Twice. Good to have you in here again. Halfway through the PHCC pre-apprenticeship course. I know we talked about that. A lot seems like review of stuff you talk about. Well, look, they've got to have somebody to copy. It might as well be me. And I'm joking. Look, I love the PHCC. I think they got a great training program. So, look, we're all talking about plumbing. We're not reinventing the wheel. We teach the same things. We may teach a different way. We may talk about it a different way. But at the end of the day, man, water runs downhill. And that's what it's all about. Is Texas Green Plumbing afoot? Yes, it is. Actually, my logo is that foot. It's sustainable foot. I designed it. I drew it up. I had the idea and put it all together and found a digital artist to do it right for me, and it was fantastic. So, yes, it is. Josephine says, I love how you're not just teaching, but also putting focus on being humble and having respect. You have a kind heart. Josephine, I've never been told that before. I've always told I'm rude and tacky and yada, yada, yada. Thank you, Miss Josephine. I appreciate that. I love teaching. And I think that if you show people a good way, show them a right way, show them a better way, I mean, I can help improve people's lives. And I think that's fantastic. James Cunningham, is it just me or is the volume on your mic a little on the low side? I think that it's doing pretty good here. I keep looking. Will's really got things set up here. I'm not redlining. I'm running right into the green and yellow, so it should be good on my end. But I appreciate that because we do kind of keep an eye on it. And I'll bump it up just a hair, see if that helps you out any. Ember 19, you've been wondering why is the plumbers union so hard to get into? Isn't the point of a union to have a big enough chunk of the workforce that you raise wages for all? I tell you what, I think that the union should be bigger. I think that they should do a lot of things, but I'm not in charge of that. As y'all see, I talk good about the union. I think it's a good place to be. It's hard to get into, I think, because it's kind of crazy. Here's my thought. No, I'm not just going to tell you like I see it. I think the union should be easier to get into. We should have more people. If more people got in the union, less would get in open shop, and that would help lead to more work. I don't know that the union knows how to get them in. They're still doing it old school way, trying to go out and recruit face-to-face, man-to-man. And I'm like, man, look, I can introduce you to 200,000 people a month. Listen to what I'm telling you. And I don't know what it is they want to do or how they're trying to do it, but I think that they should be growing. If you go to Wikipedia and look at the union growth in the last 12, 15 years, they're not growing. And to me, that's sad. They may be growing a little bit, but man, not like I would be. It's kind of crazy, but it's hard to get into. Number one, the union can be very selective, which I like. They want the top of the line plumbers. They want the cream of the crop, and I get that, and I think that's fantastic. But I also think that if they recruit in more people and get into residential and commercial service and different things like that, I think they've got an opportunity. They could really grow. I'd love to help them with it, but I don't know. They're kind of ghosting me, so it's kind of funny. Mr. Don't Mess, 1996. What's a good wage for first-year apprentice, third year, and journeyman to start at? First-year apprentices here in the Dallas area right now are about $17 an hour, so that puts a journeyman at $34. Third year to them would be at about, I'm going to say 26, 27 bucks an hour. And that's pretty close for the union around in here. And it's different all across the United States. Every different local has a different scale. So that's it. There you go. Greetings from Norway. Kent Utness, glad to have you in here. Welcome to the channel. I hope you like it. If you do, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, tell 4,000 of your closest friends about it, and tell them they have to do the same thing. Just 4,000, no. I don't want to grow too fast. Thank you. Urban Explorer. Volume seems perfect. I love it. All the way over to the UK. Man, you got to love that. Bill Welsh, when you got hired in the company, is great. They told you if you're willing to learn, they're willing to teach. And I love that because, man, to me, that's what it's all about. Me as a plumber, me as a plumbing company owner, I want my guys to learn. I want them to learn the right way. I want them to learn a good way. And I want them to want to learn. I hate it when I get these people that come in, either it's an apprentice or a plumber, and they know everything. I've got plumbers that used to work for me that are like, well, look, I know more about plumbing than Roger does. They'll tell my wife that. They won't tell me that. But here I am still going back fixing crappy work that they did while they were here. And I hate that because I believe in doing it right, and I believe in going back and checking, making sure we did it right. So, everybody thinks they do it better and whatnot, and I get that. But, man, at the end of the day, we've got to teach. And if you're that kind of plumber and that's what you're teaching, that you think you're the best, but you're doing bad things that people are coming back and fixing, that's not good. So what I'll tell you, Bill, is number one, appreciate the plumbers that do take time to teach you, but also learn your own BS meter. When it looks like poop, smells like poop, tastes like poop, it's probably poop. And if that's what they're trying to sell you, don't buy it. I love plumbers that teach, and I love plumbers that teach well. And that's part of what got me to where I'm at. And man, I am so thankful for it. Is your volume up in the video window? There you go. Double M, what is the best budget drain cleaning equipment to start off with? I tell you what, you can literally get the little rigid K400 at the box store, relatively cheap. I've unclogged 4-inch sewer mains with it. I did a video, I didn't. We bought it the other day. I hadn't done the video. How to unstop a bathtub or shower with just a little $39 that you hook your cordless drill up to. There's a lot of little things you can get. I've even used a little blow bag. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that's available. But, man, look around and check. Handyman arguing with an RMP about plumbing. I know. Tito, I'm telling you what, brother, I've lost good friends over that. But anyway. So many homeowners got screwed over by handyman. I've seen so many people who buy flipped houses and have to take the insurance claim out in less than a year. I got to tell you, and I hate getting up on soapboxes all the time, but people, if y'all are buying flipped houses, at least call a real plumber and have them come in and look at it. And I hate to say that, but most house flippers are just there for the money. They will get anybody. They will get a guy walking down the street that says, I can install that water heater for $25. They will pay him $25 to do it. They don't care if it's hooked up with garden hoses, hose clamps. They don't care. And when I say garden hoses and hose clamps, I mean the gas line. They don't care. They are trying to get it done as cheap as they can get it done. It's all about making it look pretty. It's not about doing it right. So my thing is, have a real plumber come in and check things. I have gone into houses that I've looked under the counter and I'm like, oh my God, this is wrong. And they're like, well, no, we just bought it. Okay, y'all just got shafted because the flipper that y'all bought is a piece of trash just doing anything he can to make $1. So, yeah, makes me sick too. Mr. Don't Mess 1996, I appreciate that. Strange, the volume is just fine for you. Good deal. Ember 19, you've seen some ridiculous handyman work. I tell you what, guys, it's out there. And I hate to say it, but it is. Just look at stuff before you buy it. If you're buying a flipped house, even if it doesn't say it's flipped, if you're buying a house and man, it just looks like they just put on a new coat of paint and everything looks brand new, man, check it out because I would be scared. Flipped houses just a mess. Homeowners having to spend. I tell you what, I have seen homeowners, and here's another one. And again, I'm gonna get up on my soapbox. Sewer water test, and Texas has companies saying that they can run a camera in a sewer line and tell you it does not leak. Number one, that's not true. You have to really do a sewer water test. Number two, Texas has a quote in the TREC form saying a hydrostatic test. And a true hydrostatic test applies pressure. If you think I'm joking, go to Wikipedia. But I call it a sewer water test. All I want to know is it leaking under the house? If I put a test ball in the two-way clean out and I fill the sewer line with water, is it leaking? If I put a gauge on a hose bib and turn it off at the meter, is it leaking? Those are big things to know because I've seen people buy houses and have to come in and spend $60,000 later just to fix the plumbing. So, and that's not because it was flipped. It was because it was just old, deteriorating, and needed to be replaced. Guys, don't let that be you. If you know anybody, if you're a plumber and you know anybody trying to buy a house, please tell them, do a sewer water test, help them out. It's good for them. Yes, Neil, you're right, brother. I hope it's on. I'm thinking we're starting to get back to normal a little bit. They're saying the curve is flattening out. Hadn't checked numbers lately, but I know that testing facilities have been closed here in Dallas because of weather. So hopefully we're back on a good roll getting ready to it. Joe, man, I'm sorry it's slow, brother. All right, people, do me a favor and stop asking questions. I was supposed to be off about 5 minutes ago. I'm going to scroll through the rest of these and try to get out of here. Triscuits, second year apprentice. Just finished your first day back in the field after a year or so in the shop doing prefab systems. Feels good to be back out there doing a lot of cast iron work. Good for you. I love that. Is that what you were doing in the shop? And where are you located at? It says second year apprentice, so I'm assuming you're in the UA or something like that. Where are you located? What local are you in? And what do you think about it? And I love the fact that you were in the shop for a while, but you didn't get stuck there. And I took one of my apprentices one day into one of the shops here. They called us to do slab leak detection for them. And he saw a lot of people in his class doing prefab work. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm working with you. I would not want to be in here every day doing this. So, interested in what you think about it. Lead and Oakham would have been fun. You know what? I've done it. It's not fun. The pot's not fun. It's hot, stinks. Get snort lead all day. Nothing great about it, but I have done it, and it can be done. Neil, thank you so much, brother, for being in here. Guys, if y'all have not subscribed to Neil over at the Urban Explorer, go over and check him out. Doing a lot of stuff, great stuff. Man, living in the van, living a dream, and having fun. So, Neil, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Number 19, do union shops do residential service or do they just do construction? Man, here in Dallas, I'm a union shop. I'm the only one in Dallas that does residential service, no construction at all. But I think that they should get into it. Stan, Lead and Oakham was fun as long as you keep up with your caulking. Absolutely. Yeah, there was no safety back. OSHA wasn't even around back then. What are my thoughts on geothermal heating for residential? Is there a market? Absolutely. I think, which remember, I'm a green plumber, so I believe in geothermal. I've studied it because I'm a lead AP, so I know it. Yeah, I think there's going to be a big demand for it in the future. Anything we can do to conserve energy and power and it's going to be big. Amos Cardoza, how are you doing? Glad to see you. I appreciate it. That's right. Hit the like button. If you like what we're doing, man, let us know. Thank you so much. Glad to see you in here. Stan, don't get burned because of moisture in your paddle. Man, I tell you what, yeah, you could get burned because of all kinds of different things. Triscuits got in the union as a pre-apprentice. Basically had to work for a company and they have to sponsor you into the program. Ask around the hall and see if they're manning up for big projects. Good for you. Yeah, that ladle, your irons, anything wet would cause pops. Even your oakum, and that was bad, or your running rope. Yeah, great seeing Neil in here. Absolutely. Jason Mantooth, you got into plumbing with your dad, was a GC when you're 12, working on plumbing merit badge, helping him with remodeling work. 10 years ago, you wanted to go into plumbing and get a license too. Man, I love that. I love that. Here's what's really cool is I went to my wife was a school teacher here in the Dallas area, and we got invited to go to an Eagle Scout Award. And it was a guy getting his Eagle Scout after moving up. And it was so cool because number one, I'd never been to that. I was never involved in the scouts, anything like that. I knew people who were, always thought it was really cool. And we went, and when his mom and dad told him I was a plumber, he wants to be a plumber. He says, look, I want to dig. I love this. And I thought that was so cool. So, plumbing is great. And I got to tell you, I love it. And I see we're down to the bottom of the questions. Thank you all so much. I do appreciate it. And I'm going to read through these last few. But I've got to tell you, number one, I love being a plumber. And I think y'all can tell that. If you can't tell, you need to watch some more of my videos because I really, really do. And I love the fact that, people are reaching out to me now saying, look, I want to get into the trades. How do I learn? Will you teach me? And to me, it's really cool. So I think that is fantastic. I love it too when I hear of other people that are like, look, I learned this a long time ago, and this is something I've always wanted to do. So, man, I think that is great. So let me see this because I think you're a lot like me. I love the problem solving, tough to do with plumbing, and you want to be the best you can be. What machine do you guys have for testing DWV? Here's the deal is, Jason, I love that because that's why I became a service plumber. I love the problem solving. And I'm one of these people, my plumbers laugh at me because, man, I can walk in a house and I can ask questions. Plumbing will talk to you. And the noises it makes, the smells, all kinds of different things, but it will talk to you. And if you get really good and learn how to look and where to look and what to look for, it is phenomenal. So, yeah, that's why I do it. I love the plumbing problem solving. Double J, double M. Now, we don't have a tool for testing DWV systems. What we do is we take test balls with long hoses. We put them at the two-way clean out. We fill it with water. For the water lines, we go through with electronic equipment and listen. There's a lot of different things in a lot of different ways, but I tell you what, we're really, really good at it. Henry Maldonado, you have a question. You're going to do a pre-apprenticeship soon to give you a better chance of getting a job. Is there still a chance that if you spend $9,000 on a pre-apprenticeship that you will never get a job? Henry, I would say probably so. Number one, where are you located? Where are you going through a pre-apprentice program at? And do you have to have that to get a job? Here in Dallas, I mean, literally, you can go apply for a plumbing job anywhere, any day. You don't have to have a pre-apprenticeship. You don't have to have any licenses. You do have to register with the state of Texas to get your apprentice registration, but that's about it. Mr. Don't Mess loves my stream so much. Have a great night. I will. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. Everybody, I love the fact that y'all come in. I love the fact that it's so engaging. It's so much fun because I'll tell you what, I've been in here a lot lately shooting videos for courses, for social media, for YouTube, for LinkedIn, for a lot of different things. But, y'all know we're working on the plumbing courses, wanting to get those because I'm wanting to teach people some different things. But, start out with how do you get started in plumbing? Plumbing school's going on. What kind of plumber do you want to be? Because to me, I wish I'd have known more about it before I got into it. Don't get me wrong. I've learned a lot and I love the way I've got here, but I think that there's a lot of people that maybe if they started out in construction, they'd quit because they were meant for service. Or a lot of people that get into service, they can't handle the smell and they're like, oh my gosh, I hate this. They may have been the best commercial plumber ever. So that's why I like to talk to people about what I do, why I do it, and explain it to them a little better. So thank you very much. Amos Cardoza, I'm glad you're doing well. That is fantastic. I'm fixing to get out here and go have dinner myself, so thank you so much. Stan, thank you. Good to have you in here again. Emmer 1995, not Emmer 19, sorry about that. Your wife's a school teacher too. Thanks for all my media. Thank you very much. She's got out of school teaching. She now teaches etiquette. She's got a YouTube channel that I help her with, How to Network. She also teaches how to etiquette, or teaches how to etiquette. She also teaches etiquette to big major corporations that want to train employees that have customers that take other customers out, networking, a lot of different things she teaches. She's fantastic. Thank you all very much. And you're right. Happy Easter. Joe, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. How do 24/7 plumbing companies, like I believe yours is, handle scheduling? Certain plumbers pick up certain days. I've always wondered. And that's what it is. And we try not to do it, but we do. If my phone blows up at night, I try to get to it. I try to do what we can. Josephine, thank you so much. You have a lovely day yourself. And like I said, people, if y'all hadn't subscribed to Josephine, listen to the music she makes. If you hadn't checked out the Urban Explorer, Neil, check it out. Christina Smallhorn was in here a while ago. Check her channel out. She's doing great things in the real estate industry. Guys, go over there, subscribe, check them out, see what you think. Anyway, guys, it's getting late for me. I've still got to finish up one more course so I can get out of here. I hope y'all have an amazing week. I hope you're all taking care of each other. It's not just take care of us. Take care of your family. Take care of the people around you. Take care of the people that can't take care of themselves. And I love having y'all here. I love jumping in here and getting to do this. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you give me a thumbs up. I hope you like it. And if you're not, I hope you've subscribed to the channel and ring the bell. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber. I'll see you in the next video if you don't get flushed.